Hi guys, Howard again. I had planned to review this camera straight after the Minister 3 about 6 months ago, but no one seemed too interested in the Minister 3, so I shelved the idea. However, this camera really deserves to get reviewed, as it is a great camera. Released in 1964 along with the f2.8 Minister D, the 700 and the D were the first Yashica cameras to use a cadmium sulfide light metering cell. Unfortunately, this required using the dreaded 1.35 volt mercury battery, but as we know, there are ways around that problem. No one seems to know how many 700s were made, but they were definitely amongst the rarest Yashica cameras and were considered the halo model at the time. The f1.7 Yashica lens was carried forward to become the highly acclaimed Electro series lens. It appears to be multi-coated in this example and sports 6 elements in 4 groups, a double Gauss design. The shutter is a Copal SVL, f1.7 to f16 with speeds of B and 1 second to 1/500th of a second. The one downside is that the shutter is locked into the EV system, covering EV3 to EV17, which was very popular at this era. Okay, let's have a detailed look at my Minister 700. Once again, we've got a pretty good looking camera. Lots of shiny chrome and lots of black leatherette. So it's quite a good looking camera and very solidly built. It's very, very heavy and feels like it's carved out of a single piece. All right, so there's the f1.76 element lens. It appears to have a blue and also an amber coating on it, but anyway, don't quote me on that, but that appears to be what it is. It appears to be multi-coated. Okay, looking from the front, we've got a PC socket down here for a corded flash. It's a cold shoe on the top, so you're going to need a corded flash if you shoot flash. Up here we've got the Minister 700 nameplate. At the end of that, there's the rangefinder window and the viewfinder window with a nice 4-cornered bright frame, unfortunately not compensated for parallax or anything. And to the right of that, we're looking at face on, looking at it, that's the CDS light metering cell. The word Yashica along the bottom here. All right, so let's swing around to the top. All right, let's have a look at the barrel. The front ring is the EV value, and that comes from the light meter, which we'll get onto in a minute. But say that's the EV of 14 there. Behind that, we've got the speed ring, which is attached, sort of, to the aperture ring, but it's all done by friction. I'll explain that. So you've got your speeds there, it's on 1/25th of a second there. The aperture's behind that, it's on f11 at the moment, which is a reading for f14 for 100 ASA. Now behind that we've got a depth of field scale and a very nice focusing ring. It's in feet and meters. Unfortunately, it's in an orange sort of paint, so it's a bit hard to see, but out in the daylight it shows up quite well, and the closest focusing is 0.8 per meter. Okay, so that's that, and that works very nice and smoothly. So we've got the EV ring, we've got the shutter speed ring, and we've got the aperture ring all together there. And we'll get onto that in a little more detail later on. Also on the barrel, we've got the X and M tab. So if you're using bulbs, which no one does anymore, you put on M, and that puts a very slight delay into the shutter mechanism, so it gives the flash bulb time to build up to peak intensity. But it's all electronic these days, so we leave it on X. Around here we've got the 10-second self-timer. We just push that around, and that gives us roughly 10 seconds to get back and stand with our friends and smile and hope for the best. So, yeah, there it goes. Okay. All right. Now on the top we've got a standard rewind knob with a little extended arm with an arrow on it showing the direction to rewind the film, and it's virtually always clockwise. The cold shoe, and over here we've got the light metering system. Now we've got a little window for the ASA. If I put two pairs of glasses on, I can just about read it. I'm not exactly sure what the range is, but for the time it is, it's probably 25 to 400 ASA or something like that it can cover. And you change the ASA by grabbing this knurled knob and turning it. And as you turn it, you'll see the EV values on the top ring turn as well, because they're all locked together. Below that, we've got a little window now. It's a red needle right off to the right. It's actually off the scale at the moment. But when you take a reading, that comes out, it will point to one of these areas, and then you follow whatever line it points to, whether it's black or silver, up to the actual number, which is what you set on here. Now, this will limit you, depending on the light conditions and film speed and things like that. It will at some point say no further. So if I get to 16 there, and I can keep turning that, but the 16 isn't changing. And also if I get down to 8, it won't change because of the speed and the EV settings. So it will. It's all friction controlled. So if you try to go too far, you won't break anything. It'll just simply, you can see that the other ring isn't moving, and you know you've gone too far. Got depth of field scale, and as I say, the focusing. And the rangefinder on this is pretty good. It's a nice bright square. You can see what you're doing. We've got the film advance and shutter cocking mechanism. All the speeds work on this camera, so that's really good. From a second upwards to a 500, they all work really well. And we've got a frame counter over here, which when you open the back, it resets back to 0. Okay, so I think that's everything there. Now on the back, this is a little different. To take a meter reading, you press the button in and hold it. So it means the meter isn't using the battery the whole time. It's only using the battery when you push it in and you take a reading. And that's when the needle will come out and give you the reading, depending on the light conditions. And then you read off, once again, you read off the EV value and put that around there, and you may have to adjust a few things to get it to all work. It was a very popular system for a couple of years there. I think somehow they thought this was going to be the better system, but it's just everyone got sick of it and just went back to shutter speeds and f-stops. Okay, there's a little screw on the back, and if you remove that, I'm pretty sure you can then, using a fine screwdriver, adjust the rangefinder horizontally to line up the two images if they're out. But I wouldn't fiddle with that at all unless you really need to. Now on the bottom, there's a rather unusual mechanism to open it. It looks like you just have to drag it down, but that's not the case. You actually have to press it in and drag it down, then the back pops open. It's a sort of double system to prevent you from accidentally just pressing the button and it opening. We've got the battery cover for the 1.35 volt battery, mercury battery, or whatever alternative you choose to use, whether it's a wine cell or an adapter with 1.5 volt to cut it down. But all those options are open to you. A standard 1/4 inch tripod mount and the rewind release So you push that in so you can rewind the film, and next time you wind on, it pops out. Now to put a film in it, I'll do it, it's more easier this way. Okay, so inside it's pretty standard. So to put a film in, push that up, drop the cassette in, push it down, and make sure it's locked onto the little rewind mechanism inside the cassette. Now, if you wind it on, you'll notice that the take-up spool is winding inwards. So you pull the film tongue across, push it into the slot, push it well in, turn it around, make sure it's taking up and gripping. Make sure the film sprocket's holes are sitting on the sprocket. Wind it on again, just make sure everything's right. You can take up any slack in the film if it's bulging up a bit. Just tighten that up. Don't do it hard, just enough to get the slack out. Shut the back, click it shut. Okay, there's a couple of strap lugs on the sides, and that's the that stands off quite nicely, so that if you're shooting reasonably fast, it sort of sits there. Now the whole strength of this camera is the well, if the metering's working well, then the metering is good. I'd always use a lens hood with this with any camera. If you can get it, it's preferable to use a proper lens hood that suits the camera. But the strength of this camera is really the lens. That lovely 6-element in 4 groups double Gauss design with the multi-coating and the 1.7. It's an excellent lens and is capable of really excellent photos. Other than that, the camera's a little bit clunky, but the early cameras were. So look, that's about it for the Yashica 700, the last of the Minister series. So look, I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, please like and subscribe. It costs nothing and keeps the algorithm happy. Plus, it's always nice to get a bit of positive feedback. Anyhow, look, thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.